Hi, good afternoon, all of you, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the webinar Wednesdays organized by Coach Grab. First of all, let me wish you a very happy Women's Day. Although we do, as women and men, as have the opportunity of celebrating ourselves each day. Let's do so since there is a day dedicated to us. Um, so thank you. What I'll request each one of you is to be on mute. We'll do the question and answer session towards the end of the webinar. However, you have an option to unmute yourself. And what I'll request is make sure only one person speaks whenever you unmute and you're able to ask your question clearly. Yeah. So let's get started. And while the topic of relaunching your career and starting your second innings can actually cover many aspects for each individual, what we'll do today is talk about some practical takeaways that you can implement as you relaunch your career. So when you decide to relaunch yourself back to work, it is change from your current situation. And all change sometimes it can be stressful or it can be tough. Technologically, there have been many changes, several changes over the last 3 to 5 years. And if you are looking for a job today, it is different. And at the same time, there are opportunities for women to be an entrepreneur as well. So explore the opportunities and change your story. Now's your time because you've made the decision to relaunch yourself, right? So when you focus on the most vital aspects of change for relaunching your career, the process becomes easier. So moving ahead, let's look at the why, what, when, and how. Why are you looking to relaunch your career? That's a question you'd have to ask yourself. So you may have taken a break for reasons such as pregnancy or to support your family with an event or any other reason. What's important now is to take a mindful decision about why you're looking to restart your work. Is it for yourself to pursue an interest or your passion? Or is it the financial situation at home? Or is it for the family that you want to work? Or is it staying away from home for some time? So these are questions that you would need to ask yourself. Next, think about what you're looking for. Is it a career or a job? And what aspects are really important for you? Is it the flexibility that the work offers, the compensation, or the growth, or the team, the work environment, the location of work? That also can be very critical for women, especially. That's been my experience. So, ask yourself these questions. And when you ask yourself these questions, be honest with yourself as you answer these questions. The next question that you should ask yourself is when you can get started. Are there some things that you have to take care of before you start work? Planning this out carefully is required if you have a family that depends on you. Now, how do you want to really get started? If you've been away from work for more than 2 years, maybe it's time for you to start slow before you go back to a 9 to 5 routine. Setting your schedule, to be able to accommodate the change will be helpful, even if it is including sleeping early and changing your diet patterns, because working 9 to 5 routine is definitely going to be a big change for you if you haven't been in that routine. So another thing that you would want to think about is working, whether you want to work full time or whether you want to start part time work or you want to get into a flexi time working mode. So these are some of the vital questions that you may want to think about and jot down your thoughts on paper. The secret of success is making your vocation your vacation, says Mark Twain. And what actually Mark Twain was preaching is do what you love and love what you do. And that's the mantra when he says that. You know, with the advancements in technology and the elimination of gatekeepers in business, the game has changed. People are able to build businesses around what they're really passionate about and share that with the world at the click of a button. And that's a real powerful thing, isn't it? So I believe that true success is measured by your happiness and well being. If you love what you do and it pays your bills, you're doing just fine, right? So I'll just pause for a while and I'll request you to let me know if you're able to follow and if what I'm sharing is making sense to you. May I request for a yes?
Your voice is breaking, Sunita. Am I having this problem, or is it with your internet?
Is everyone else able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there's no problem with the line, Aarti, because we've tested the line. It seems to be just fine.
Okay.
Yeah. How about the others? Are you all able to gather what I've been talking about so far?
Yes, Sunita.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you so much. So we'll go move ahead.
It's perfect here as well, Suneeta. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's look at the key components for a successful relaunch of your career now. Yeah. So I think the key components for a successful relaunch are to do the work you love, build your confidence, be updated, invest in yourself, focus and prioritize. These are the key components. So whether you've taken a break for a year, 4 years, 5 years, or 15 years or more, these really are the key components. So let's look at each of these in detail now. So doing the work you love. Now, each of you can make a bigger impact and can make a difference in the world by being your true self and doing the work you love. The question is, how do you find the work you love? So here are some simple steps to find the work you love. Identify your greatest passion. So you may use these questions to help you. If I could accomplish one thing in my life, it would be, or if I could make an important contribution in my work, it would be, or if I could do one thing that I love all day long, what would it be? So this was a question that I asked myself some time back, and here's where I've landed into training and coaching full time. So it's really helpful to ask yourself these questions. Next, you could identify 3 things you can do each day to bring your passion to the work you do. Yeah. So explore what you need to do in order to sustain your passion. Is that a secondary income that you're looking at, or some more time to think, or paying closer attention to relationships? So there's a possibility that, like one of my client had, so she was really passionate about garments business. And at the same time, she comes from a business family, and she really had to pay, attention to relationships at home. So she started, small, and then she, took it uh, slowly over a period of time until the time she was able to build the business and uh, garner some help from other people. So, explore what works for you, and what is it that you need to do in order to sustain what you're passionate about. So these are really some questions that you would be uh, able to get fruitful insights from within. The next is about building your own confidence. Sit down and assess your skills, your strengths. Take time to understand and reflect on what you're good at. What are the things that come really naturally to you? What are you really good at? You could also look at asking your family and friends about what they see as your strengths. Yeah. So asking them sometimes might give you insights into what you may not be able to actually see by yourself. So you ask your family and friends. In order to build confidence, you also have to value yourself. Always, always, always value yourself. I've come across some people saying, I'm just a housewife, I'm just a tutor, or say I'm just a receptionist in a hotel or a hospital. So the point is, if you don't value yourself, nobody else will. So be very careful about the language you use. And lastly, don't regret taking a break. Maybe you took a break for your kids, or to take care of your elderly parents, or maybe you lost a job. You don't need to be apologetic for that. It's all right. You did what you had to do so that you could create the balance in your life. A break in career doesn't mean that you haven't done anything. That's another point. See, we women are really entrepreneurs. We are CEOs of our entity, isn't it? And it requires a lot of management skills to uh, do the work that we do. We do a lot of juggling through the day. So value all of it that you do, and it's an experience in itself, isn't it? Just a matter of how you're going to present it going forward. So there's so much of organization skills that we use, management skills, communication, finding solutions, especially with children. Haven't we all faced, if we have children, right? They always come to us with a problem, and then we solve this situation or ask them some questions, and then they find a solution by themselves. So look at what are the skills that are really transferable. Yeah, so look at it as a precious experience. Okay, you've taken a break, fine. So what is it that you have, gained through the break? What is the experience that you've gained? How do you want to present that? That's very important. And also look at what are the skills that you've gained during the break. Maybe you have learned a new skill. So talk about those when you're talking to people. I've also come across, people, um, especially, some of my clients where they've been emotionally very low. just because they've been on a break. And that's happened with a lot of women that I've worked with. What's important is to realize that it's all right to be on a break, and more importantly, it's the way you look at yourself that matters. Yeah. So I'll pause for a short while here, and I'll request if you have any questions over here, or if you want to share any thoughts. Are you able to hear? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? Any thoughts that you'd like to share so far? So I'm assuming that there's no questions, or you're able to follow everything that I'm sharing. So let's continue. I'm muting everybody back. Okay. So the next component that we look at is being updated. Now, no matter whichever position or business you intend to take up or start, technology is going to be a key part of it. So be updated regarding technology, the resources, the tools that you would need to use at work. If you have kept yourself updated from time to time, that's really, really commendable. If not, learn how to use these by taking classes. You look at taking virtual classes as well. What is important is once you've learned, you also need to practice what you've learned and find opportunities to use them. You could initially look at volunteering as well, so that you use what you learn and you're able to gain the expertise. Right? So simple tools such as Microsoft Office, LinkedIn, you have to look at creating and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So what that really means is adding a professional photograph, writing an attention grabbing headline, explaining what you do, show your passion and value. Add skills on your profile and get endorsed for them. Now ensure you include the key skills, which are a mix of high level and niche skills. Another thing that you'll have to do is include your volunteer experiences and causes, these information. These profiles which have these included have 6% more views than those without. And lastly, ensure your profile strength is all star. Now, once you complete building your profile and complete this step, connect with your ex-colleagues, your friends, your clients, people you meet at events, family, school or college alumni. Yeah. And be updated on industry trends. That is very key as you look at relaunching yourself back. Reading news, using social media, reading blogs. You could also look at joining LinkedIn groups that are relevant to your area of work. Start reading and requesting information where you need to clarify. Now, these are virtual sources. So you can also look at other sources like attending classes, workshops, conferences, networking meetings, right? So that you get to know people and be updated on what's happening in the industry. You can find a mentor, probably someone who was your ex-colleague or someone who's willing to be a mentor. Nowadays, there are individuals who are willing to be a mentor for a fee. So look at that option for staying updated as well. The next component is investing in yourself. So talk to a mentor or people in the industry and then take up relevant workshops or certification programs that will be helpful for you. It's not just about doing something for the sake of doing, but then look at what suits you and what's more relevant for you. For example, if you worked in HR 5 years back, maybe getting a SHRM certificate will be relevant now. So look at attending workshops, conferences, networking meetings, developing yourself. Look at even if you have to look at your wardrobe and consider going through a makeover. Most of the times when we are staying back at home, we don't really bother much about all of these aspects. So see if those are some of the things that you'd want to look at. Get certifications that are relevant to the work that you intend to do. Also look at working with a coach, right? Because a coach is somebody who is going to help you and facilitate you from reaching from where you are right now to reach where you want to be. So these are, think about these, I would say, as investments and be updated. The next component that we'll talk about is about focusing and prioritizing. So what I really suggest is that focus your best energies and abilities on starting and completing those key tasks that enable you to do well and move ahead. So you could look at setting goals for each day, every week, and a month or more. But while you do that, please be realistic. Something like if you're looking at a job or getting back to the corporate world, you would want to set something like, I want to apply for at least 5 jobs every day. I want to practice using Excel functions this week. I want to talk to 2 friends or ex-colleagues each day. And when you set the goals, make yourself accountable. Now, if you're finding it difficult to, go ahead, then maybe you could look at getting an accountability partner. Yeah, so somebody who can work with you on your goals. Right, so manage time well, because it's going to be a change. Look at what are the things that you could delegate. There was a client that I had who wasn't able to really go about what she was set out to do. Then we had to relook at what exactly is taking her time. So, what we understood is that deciding what she's not going to do is as important as deciding what she's going to do. So there must be a number of mundane tasks as well which are taking up your time. So you got to decide what you're not going to do. So delegate work to either your family or to somebody else, maybe a domestic help. Look at what are the things that you really want to do and what you do not want to do going forward. Yeah. So another key thing is for you to set aside time to work and a dedicated place to work. So if you are going to be functioning out of a cluttered place where you have things lying around, it's going to be very difficult for you to stay focused. So it's important for you to create a small corner space or some kind of a space where you can actually dedicate yourself completely to the work that you're going to be doing. So consider that as an important aspect. So whether it's for you to create a space around your home or looking at a local shared office, see what works best for you, because multitasking really doesn't help, and I would suggest you please avoid it. So let me just check in once over here. If you have any questions or if you'd like to share anything, please do ask me.
Sunita, you mentioned multitasking doesn't help. So I
Yeah,
just want to hear something more about this part. Because as a woman, we can do multitask, right? And at the end of the day or the time, we end up doing multitasking most of the time. So I guess,
sure.
please elaborate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So what I meant to say is when you're looking to get back to work, or when you're looking to get some work done for yourself, you're going to be in a space where you're doing your work and also taking care of your kiddo. You're not going to be able to uh, be able to focus completely on what you're doing. So that's where I'm coming from. I definitely agree. As women, we do a lot of multitasking, and we are really good at it. However, what I'm really emphasizing over here is some dedicated time for yourself, so that you're able to get the key tasks that you have set out for yourself completed. Otherwise, it's not really going to work well, and you're not going to be able to move ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah. And any other questions from any of you? Okay, so we'll move ahead. So what we just spoke about are the five key components for a successful relaunch of career. Now let's look at some essentials that you need to focus on. So if you are looking for a job, here's some key information for you. A recruiter spends average of 6 seconds to review the resume of a candidate. So pay attention to what you really want to convey as a message on your profile. The period of employment has to be really clear. Yeah, 6 seconds is what you really have. So here are some of the things that you would want to focus on. A clear objective of what you want to do or achieve. Highlight your strengths in terms of achievements in the previous assignments. Contributions that you've made to the organization's businesses. So these are some of the things that you really want to highlight and talk about in your profile or the resume. And make sure you eliminate any kind of spelling errors, include professional address and details very clearly in an identifiable manner in your profile. The periods of employment should be really clear. And I suggest not to use PDF formats, because there are many companies using automatic readers or software that do not read PDFs, and they get rejected immediately. And for those of you who want to be entrepreneurs, my suggestion is that you have to be sure that the business is driven by your passion. Otherwise, I've seen many individuals who have started something with great plans, and then they fizzle out in a matter of a couple of months. So you got to be really sure that whatever you're starting, the venture that you're starting, is really driven by your passion, and that's what will ensure success. The other thing is you need to have good understanding of the business basics in that field. So while you may have the basics, the understanding of the basics, you may want to also look at how you can enhance your knowledge, because knowledge really is power. Also decide how are you going to be unique. What is your unique value proposition? Because a run of the mill kind of an approach may not really work. Just because a group of friends have got into a garments business. One of my client also wanted to get into the same, and eventually what she realized is that she was not really passionate about doing that, and she was more looking at it because a couple of her friends were really doing the same kind of work. So look at what really interests you and what's your passion, because if you're not going to be doing that, you are not going to be successful over a period of time. Okay, let's look at the way forward strategy. Now, networking, research, applying jobs, and looking for job opportunities, all of these have to be done simultaneously. So we'll first look at networking. Research says 70% of people land in jobs through references. So most of the time, people who you have worked with are the ones who are likely to recommend you for a job. So, networking is not about jumping directly and talking to people about the job or the work that you're looking for, or asking them to help you find a job. It's not at all about that. um, Instead it is about establishing connect over a call and then setting up a face-to-face meeting and have a conversation. In that conversation, asking them for advice, for counsel, for ideas. So it's all about sharing ideas, and it's all about connecting back to somebody who you may know or somebody who's new. uh, so networking is not really about directly asking for somebody for a job. So you could look at reconnecting with former colleagues, friends, everyone you know. In fact, everyone. So even if it is somebody who is within your own building, within your own colony or society, so reconnect with everybody who you know, because you never know where you will actually land in the next opportunity. So also look at social business platforms, especially if you're looking to restart your career in business venture, or you're launching yourself in a venture. Look at local chambers of commerce, HR forums, the National HR Network. We also have the Association of Lady Entrepreneurs in India. So look at all these business platforms where you can network and associate with a number of women who are doing numerous activities. Some of these organizations, especially the Association of Lady Entrepreneurs, also organizes workshops from time to time. So look at what really is something that inspires you and that interests you, and then you take it forward. Now, if you're looking to restart work, whether it's a job or your own venture, what you really need to also look at is preparing an elevator pitch for yourself. So what it really means is basically a summary of your background and what you're looking for. So it's basically a response for tell me about yourself in less than 2 minutes. So think about what are the things that you want to emphasize, or how do you want to organize your answer. Think about these, because it's always better to start saying I am a HR professional with more than 14 years of experience than I took a break to take care of my kids and I'm now looking to get back to work. So we'll look at a sample 1-minute summary. Yeah, so I have 15 years of progressively responsible management experience in the graphic arts field. including both internet and print media. Most recently, I was a manager of a franchised operation and grew the business from startup to 40 million in sales. I have an MBA degree and continuing education in various desktop publishing software programs. My strengths include innovative marketing, building rapport with a variety of customers, and building effective teams within a deadline driven environment. During my recent break of 1 year, I did freelance work on print media for an IT organization. So that's really how you could look at developing your elevator pitch. So some of the other things that you should really look at is doing research on the location, the industry, the type of work, the size of the organization. And if you're looking to start a venture, look at what are the similar organizations and setups that are around and individuals who are doing similar work. Yeah, so also research through your own network about the opportunities that are available. So as you network, you also gather a lot of information. So what you could do is put people you need to connect into categories. Okay, so friends, within family, relatives, ex-colleagues, so for belonging to a particular organization. So bucket them, put them into categories, and go out and meet people face to face. It will make you feel good. That's been my personal experience as well. The other thing that you could do is applying for positions. And I did discuss that all of these have to be done simultaneously. So you could look at applying directly to the companies or through recruiters or agencies or through references. Ensure you have a cover letter for all the jobs that you're applying for, because it shows the hiring manager to understand, why you are a great fit for a position. Now, some of the other things that you could look at is job sites, and I'll just share a list of sites and companies where you can find opportunities for relaunching career in the next slide. What I'd also want to share here is, look at how you are appearing in social media. So recruiters nowadays are actively using social media, so you have to manage your online reputation well. So be sure to Google your name and be sure you like what you see. If you don't find anything, it is time to start posting information on social media sites such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or create your own blog if you have one. Start promoting it so that these show up in future search results. 60% of the time, recruiters do not contact the candidate after checking their Facebook and Twitter profiles, even after they have checked their LinkedIn profile. So be watchful of what you post on social media. Always keep this in mind. The intent is you want to be identified in a good way. Yeah. So let's look at the companies that are offering opportunities for a second career or a relaunch. These are the companies: the Tata, the Godrej, IBM, Axis Bank, Capgemini. Eaton has some amazing initiatives, and there are also portals that have these opportunities where you can look for flexi time opportunities, part-time opportunities, or full-time opportunities. So Shiros.in is a portal, Jobs for Her is another one, and AvtarIvan.com is another portal. So there are numerous opportunities that are available. It's all for you to go out and start looking out. Going back, some of the other opportunities that you could look at if you're looking to start your own venture is franchise opportunities, or if it's your own business, looking at what are the key things that you have to get done to start, and associating with some of the organizations that I just spoke about some time back. That will be really helpful, because the Association of Lady Entrepreneurs also provides a detailed, structured plan for women who are looking to start their own venture, and they also do offer support in terms of loans. So those are some of the things that you might want to explore. You might want to explore doing a consulting kind of work, reaching out to consulting firms who are doing similar work in the field of your work, and exploring that. Or if it is a freelance work that you want to do, or a temporary or a contract position that you want to take up, there are several opportunities. Now it's for you to look at what really suits you. You could also look at internship opportunities, so maybe contacting some of your professors to see if you can find something would also be helpful. Now, the next steps really are for you to be really positive. Now, it is change. So, for you to be aware of your own emotions, and the moment you're aware, switching yourself back to positivity if you're going negative will really be helpful. At the same time, you also got to be really realistic. So with the changes in the market, you will have certain challenges. So it's all right if it's going to be taking more time for you to settle down in a new position. So just be realistic in what you're looking at. Continue to network and be patient. And the other important thing that I'd like to share is that always, as you network and as you talk to many people, make a note of the details that of the people who you're speaking to, and always thank people for their help. It's what they did actually that matters, and not the actual outcome, right? So always keep the people who help you updated when you land in the next job, or you start something on your own. Okay. Now, in terms of goal setting, you'll have to really look at what your first step will be. So note down what your first step will be. And I would always suggest that you work with an accountability partner. So you write down really, I will work with someone as my accountability partner, whoever it is. And I would suggest it's not somebody from the family, and somebody who is outside the family, so that the accountability is better. Also decide, keep a deadline as to when you really want to start work by, so that you can start working backwards and create a plan for yourself. So these are really some points that I wanted to share with you all, and I'll now ask you if you have any questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Suneeta, this is Ismail here, and I think one of the questions that I had was in terms of now. It's from a friend's wife. So what she was asking is, so
Okay.
she had to leave the job,
Okay.
not because of maternity or any of these, but to do with her husband was not well and she had to leave, and she was in a good position, and
Okay.
she was finding it difficult to explain why she left the job. Now, I mean,
Okay.
due to maternity, we can definitely understand, but
Hmm.
because husband being unwell, how
Hmm.
would she explain that? So that was a concern that she had.
Okay.
So any thoughts on that?
Sure. So she's really taken a break so that she can balance giving the family support that is required because of her husband being unwell, and that's absolutely fine. So she can directly say that she had to take a break because her husband was unwell. And the various things I'm sure she would have managed because of her husband not being well. She would have had to manage the kids, the visits around the hospital, discussions with the doctor. All of these, I'm sure they were involved, and she could actually look at what are the key learnings from this entire experience that she had, and uh, you know share those whenever she gets an opportunity.
Okay. So I'll pass on that information. Thank you so much, Suneeta.
Sure. Thank you.
I had a question.
Sure.
Would it be possible for you to let me know? You mentioned about some organization that helps women with loans. I
Yeah.
didn't get that name. If you could just repeat that again, please.
That's called ALEAP, Association for. I'll message you the details as well. Yeah, it's called Association for Lady Entrepreneurs. You can Google the name.
All right.
Yeah, so there's there are similar organizations across the country. So you could look at what is available locally. You could check with your local chamber of commerce within the state where you live, and get more information.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. You're welcome. Can I take any more questions before we end the webinar? Okay, so as promised, I think we've started a couple of minutes late, and we've been able to complete the webinar within 50 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I do hope I've left each one of you with some food for thought. And I wish you a very happy Women's Day. Not just today, but celebrate yourself each and every day, every moment. And I really loved talking today and sharing my thoughts. I do hope to interact with some of you in the near future. Thank you so much. And I
Thank you.
wish you all a great evening.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Suneeta.
Suneeta.
You
Thank you,
too.
Suneeta.
Bye bye.